Oh man. You know, this popped up yesterday, and after I saw it on TV and I heard the sentiments shared by Elliotte Friedman, you know that, like, Kendrick Lamar sound effect from the To Pimp a Butterfly album where he goes, ah! Like, I was saying that over and over in my mind because I was like, wait, no! We're doing this? Okay, we're doing this. Let's talk today about Andrei Kuzmenko and how there legitimately is a trade update to be had in regards to his status as a Vancouver Canuck. Now, we'll start off with the actual tweet itself. And I say tweet because NHL Watcher does this all the time. He posts it. It's easy to screenshot. But Elliotte Friedman, during yesterday's Hockey Night in Canada intermission, said that teams are calling the Vancouver Canucks about Kuzmenko. He's got 1 year left at $5.5 million. And he's also got a partial no-trade clause. Now, okay, you could say that in itself is not the biggest update in the world, but the fact that it was shared on TV and the fact that we're now talking about it, it's not just me, it's everybody else on Twitter, on Reddit, on social media, even the Instagram comments are going out there and saying, hey, should we not trade Andrei Kuzmenko? This is now a thing. And when it comes to the way Kuzmenko has performed this season, it's no secret. He has not been good. Like, especially compared to the standard he had set last year, definitely a night and day difference in terms of the confidence, and that confidence takes him places. It's part of the reason he was such a flashy and capable point producer in last season's worth of play. Andrei Kuzmenko is in the doghouse right now. He's playing fewer minutes a night. He is now on the fourth line, I think that's what it is, and his primary usage on the team has been just rotating around. Fourth line, first power play. Fourth line, first power play. He doesn't get many 5-on-5 minutes anymore. His spot was replaced by Sam Lafferty on the Pettersson line, who has admittedly been amazing, so much better than a 5th overall pick's value could provide, at least in normal circumstances. And so for Andrei Kuzmenko, who is now de facto a bottom 6 player making $5.5 million till the end of 2025, it's very understandable why teams are going out there and asking about him in a trade. He had 74 points in 81 games last year, 39 goals, but this year he's got 15 points in 25 games played and only 4 of those are goals. He's on pace for roughly a 48-point year in 79 games and literally a third of the goals he had scored last year. Now, interestingly enough, he is on pace for roughly the same amount of assists, but as we had said in the video a few days ago talking about the Tocchet and Kuzmenko doghouse, out of all the players to have improved in the Vancouver Canucks, the star players, the ones who lead this team, JT Miller just had a Vancouver Canucks record-setting season, becoming the fastest Canuck ever in a tie to get 40 points in a campaign. Quinn Hughes is the top point scorer amongst all defensemen in the NHL. Elias Pettersson doesn't look like himself, yet he's still producing at the best rate he's ever had in his career. He had a 3-point game last night. Brock Besser is tied with Austin Matthews in goals this year, second in the league behind Kucherov. Thatcher Demko is one of the best goalies in the NHL, and he's still not looking like his best. But Andrei Kuzmenko is the only one who has not taken that step further. He's taken a few steps back. And now you have to acknowledge that because other teams are looking at this and saying, hey, he's been pretty rough, and now he's not getting any ice time because of it, let's try to buy low on this asset. Because if the Vancouver Canucks start to lose their patience with him and they don't want to deal with that $5.5 million for the next 2 years, then maybe we could swipe in. And that seems to be the sentiment. It's not like teams are calling Vancouver about Kuzmenko because they don't call about good players. This happens all the time. Like, it would be out of other NHL teams' best interest to not gauge the market and ask around, right? Like, okay, this guy on your team, what's his price? What is he worth? Would you entertain the idea of trading him? But for Andrei Kuzmenko, now because it's gotten so sour, there is reason to be discussing this even more. And now when you talk about the idea of Andrei Kuzmenko legitimately being targeted by these other teams, I mean, look, if any team is going to go out there and try to get Kuzmenko for their squad and say, okay, we believe in you, we want you to be that 39-goal guy that you were last year with us, you're going to have to do a few things to make that happen. Firstly, you're going to need to trust the guy. And admittedly, that's not an easy thing to do. Like, Kuzmenko plays such a different style of hockey when it comes to the dump and chase, when it comes to the way he roves around in the offensive zone. He definitely still plays that possession, rover-based Russian style that was so good in the KHL, and that served him well last year. Now, part of why he was so good last year compared to this year is because his confidence was totally there in last season's worth of play. He was the new guy in town. He was, with all this hype around him, all the Canucks fans wanted to see this guy, and he impressed. He felt that. He wanted that. Now he's getting fewer minutes, the coach doesn't trust him as much, his only significant time is on the power play, which is why you see on these man advantages he's just become so reluctant. He's not shooting as much as he did before. He's trying to force passes, he's holding on to the puck a little bit too long, he's trying to wait for that perfect opportunity. And these are all things that can be fixed with a little bit more conditioning of the mind and just confidence from those around you. That in which he hasn't really had this year. And to be fair, I'm not saying he deserves it, but he definitely has not been the best this season. Now, when it comes to Canucks fans and their responses to this, I wanted to read a post made on the R Canucks sub. Winters Now Mans went out there and posted this last night. Trading Kuzmenko would be a big mistake in my opinion. While I understand he's struggling, he has a lot of potential. Personally, I'm starting to think that Tocchet should deploy him more around the net again. That's how he scored a lot of his goals last year. Perhaps if we can use him in that way, he's more likely to score and get his confidence back. Now, I understand that he needs to forecheck better, but it's easier said than done, especially when his confidence is so low. But I do think he has a good chance of bouncing back if the Canucks are patient with him. That said, if we could get a top right-handed defenseman for him, then it would be hard to turn down a trade. But it's not easy to convince a team to give something up like that unless they're confident in whatever they're getting in return. Given Kuzmenko's performance this season, his value is probably lower now than it would have been at last year's trade deadline, although I would have been flabbergasted if they had traded him. Definitely glad they chose to keep him, and I don't hope they decide to give up on him. What are everybody else's thoughts? And I'd say the majority of the commenters here go out there and pretty much say similar things like, if we're going to trade him, wait till the deadline. If there's an injury to somebody in the top 6, then you would prefer Kuzmenko or Garland to get that promotion instead of DiGiuseppe or Dakota Joshua. Maybe it's not too great for the Canucks to immediately make some sort of a move. Like, Anthony Beauvillier was on the market for ages, and that guy only got moved recently. So, if it's Andrei Kuzmenko, who is arguably a better asset, and I say arguably because Beauvillier's making less, but at least you don't have as high of an expectation for him, there may be some time before the Vancouver Canucks wheel and deal make this happen. Oh, it's too early to consider trading him. This is just teams going out there and calling, asking about him, not necessarily the Vancouver Canucks entertaining those offers. But at the end of the day, because Elliotte Friedman went out there and talked about it on Hockey Night in Canada, everybody is talking about the idea of a Kuzmenko trade, so I thought we'd get our video out there too. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you think Andrei Kuzmenko is a suitable trade target for this time in the Vancouver Canucks journey? Do you think this would be an appropriate move to make now or within the next few months? I will say, for me personally, I dropped Andrei Kuzmenko, or at least I'm planning to drop him tomorrow for my fantasy league because the guy just really has not been pulling his weight. My lowest producing player by far. There's only so much love I can have for my Vancouver Canucks to have me sticking around with him until it becomes a little bit unbearable seeing guys like Beck Mellenstein, for example, putting up so many more fantasy points with his hits and blocks. But either way, for Andrei Kuzmenko, this is a guy that obviously I would love to see him get back to form. If he gets 30 to 40 goals this season, then chef's kiss, that would be amazing. We would love to see that. It would complement the rest of the growth of these Vancouver Canucks superstar players and really just be the next piece they needed. Like everybody says, oh, the Canucks are one right-handed defenseman away from making themselves a super contender. What about one top 6 caliber forward away? Like, Kuzmenko is not that this year. He doesn't forecheck the way he needs to. He's playing in the bottom 6. If he's capable of becoming the top scoring guy like he was last year, while Mikheyev improves, while Pettersson improves, while Besser and Miller are still doing their thing, while Nils Höglander sticks around in that top 6, while Lafferty and Dakota Joshua continue scoring points in the bottom 6, when Pius Suter comes back and he provides another element of scoring too, this team could be legit. So good. But, yeah, that's not guaranteed right now. And instead, we're talking about the idea of a Kuzmenko trade. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about an Andrei Kuzmenko trade coming soon. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.